Hello and what's up, PE 582? So this week we learned about our strengths and our top five strengths and how those help us and how we have used them in the past and or we will use them in the future to impact other people and whatnot. So I'll just go ahead and get started. My first one was WOO, which stands for winning others over. That's definitely something that I think that I have always done from a very young age. I've always kind of wanted people to like me. That's very important to me. I'm very outgoing, and I think that has helped with me being able to get to know people and helping really to find some kind of common ground, so that they do like me and wanna be a part of my life. I've won them over. So that's the woo. The next one is significance. And it talks about how you want to be significant in the eyes of others, and I think that that's very similar to the woo. Kind of winning others over is that you want to be significant, you want to be remembered. And so I a little bit struggle with this one because I feel like it makes you sound kind of full of yourself, that you want to be significant, but I do think that it is important. And as a teacher and a coach in my future, I do want to be significant to my students. I want them to remember my class and know that they can make a difference in the world, and hopefully that I will give them also that strength of being significant in others' lives as well as me being significant to them. Um, so the next one was communication. I'm a great communicator. I can find something to say to anybody. I've always been able to do that. My parents have always talked about how when I was really young, I would have conversations with adults all the time, even when I was a young child, and I could communicate essentially at their level. I wasn't doing any kind of like baby talk or anything like that. So communication is huge for me. I It doesn't make me that nervous to speak in a group of people. Um, I'm fairly confident and very flowing with saying how I feel and what's on my mind and whatnot. I also do my best to communicate, and because communication is a lot more than talking, it's also about listening to others, and really being present in those conversations and communicating even through body language that you care or that you want to be there for somebody. I think especially as a coach, sometimes you get excited and you might get upset with a certain player or whatnot, but it's that communication and it's that relationship that you have with them that helps them understand that it's not about the one time the coach yelled at me or whatever. It's about all these other combinations of things, and how coach is always trying to help me. So they're always I want to say providing feedback, so that we can do better. Um, Next one is competitor. I am a competitor through and through. It's hard sometimes for me to be motivated to do things when there's no sort of competition involved. I think that's why sports have been such a great outlet for me, and I think that's a huge reason why I want to be a PE teacher. Competing and being a competitor and having all those attributes that just really made me stronger as a person. And I think now, as you know, my playing career essentially is over. I'm I'm still going to be able to compete. I'm going to be able to compete with my teams, with my athletes, and I'm also going to be able to compete for them. That's a huge thing in working in education. Is some these students need somebody to advocate for them, and if there's no adult that's willing to go above and beyond and do that, and really compete for them, no matter what level it's on, it's what they need. They need someone to advocate and compete for them so that they can have that access, so that they can have those opportunities. So I think I will stay a competitor. Um, and then lastly was includer. I definitely find myself to be very inclusive, especially even in friend groups and whatnot. I'm always trying to invite that one person that maybe not everybody likes, or maybe someone thinks it's weird, or whatever they might say. I'm always trying to bring that person in. And I've also learned, as a student teacher, I'm finding that student. I'm doing whatever it takes to find that student that has been left out or isn't necessarily always included or has a hard time finding a partner and whatnot. making sure that they feel totally included in the class and that it's a place for them. I want it to be a class community and not just some place where we all get together and some of us get left out. That's not the point. I want everyone to be included. And so I think that my strength as an includer has enabled me to do that. Okay, so for this next question, we're supposed to be switching to job interview mode here. So it says job interview question. What are some of your strengths? What do you think you could bring to this organization? And how do you share with your potential employer what you bring to the table, communicating about your strengths? So I think number one is, if I were on a job interview, I would talk about my communication skills. I am a talker. It is easy for me to start a conversation with anybody and then develop and build a relationship and a connection from there. So I would bring my strengths of communication to the school. I would also bring my communication skills and my nonverbal skills and my body motioning and all these other things that go into communication. And really, above all, just be open and honest and realistic. So really, when it comes to communication, if you're not getting across exactly what you need to say or exactly what the situation may be and how to remedy that, I think it's difficult for somebody to take you seriously. So I think that if we can express really what we're looking for and what we want to introduce people to in an educated and positive manner, that it will be very successful. Not only communicating with the administration and whatnot, but also with the students. It's really, really huge to be able to communicate with the students because they may have had some really terrible experience with school that they don't want to relive, and they think that teachers are not the safest and most responsible or communicable people. And I don't want any of my students to feel that way. So I will use my communication skills in order to build up our organization, our school, and to let the students know that, like, I'm here for them and that I care about them. I think one of my other strengths is that I can win people over. I can win over the students, I can win over the staff, and I can do those things. And it's very important for me to do those things. So, and as I strive to do so, and as people to get to know me, they will only realize like how much more I have to give. I've always been a very selfless person, and I will continue to be so in any sort of job-like setting. And I think that's one of the huge reasons that I've got into teaching. And then lastly is to be that includer, to be that inclusive person. All schools and every student should feel like they're a contributing member of the class and an important member of the class, and that the class can't succeed without their participation or without them being there. That I just really want to, I will portray to students that they are wanted and that they are necessary for the class success. So that's what I would say, things a little bit like that, my strengths. In a job interview. And yeah, I think that's all for today. See you next time. Adios.